Hello, today I'll be making a video on how to generate a flight plan in UGCS so we can utilize the desktop planning features along with the built-in terrain following, which is key to successfully collect accurate and consistent data. I'll specifically be planning an area map mission to be flown with the DJI M300 and a third-party LiDAR sensor such as the YellowScan mapper. We will then connect the DJI Smart Controller Enterprise and upload the missions to the Smart Controller for online and off-network use. So let's begin. So right now I have UGCS open, and I am going to first start by changing the name. So it'll be test mission. Next I'll do add route. We're going to create one from scratch, and I'll add a route name, so M301. I'll then click next, and then I'll do my route creation for the DJI Matrice 300 RTK. Click next. These settings right here, it really depends on what you guys are doing. If you're going to be taking off at a different ground altitude, your maximum altitude above ground, your return to home altitude, this all depends on what you're doing. I'm just going to put 100 meters in here just because trajectory type is either going to be straight or safe. At loss of connection, you can either have it go return to home or do not modify or continue. So depending on the issue or what's going on, you can either choose going home or continuing. So after I choose those, I'm going to click OK. And then now we get to the screen where we go through and plan our mission. So with LiDAR sensors, we kind of just fly the standard lawnmower pattern back and forth, but we're not really stopping or anything. We're just getting continuous lines for that LiDAR data. So for this, I will choose the area map or area scan feature. And for the scanner I'll be using, this as example 4 will be the YellowScan mapper. So with the YellowScan mapper, we'll be flying at about 10 meters a second. For turn type, we'll want adaptive bank turning. So instead of coming to the end of a flight line, stopping, turning, stopping again, and then turning to come back around, we're going to do adaptive banking. And with adaptive banking, what it'll end up doing is it won't stop, but it'll take a nice banked turn into the next flight line. For flight height, I'm going to choose 70 meters. The altitude is going to be above ground level. So with these settings at about 70 meters above ground level, we'll get about 120 meter swath. In general, what we like to do is get 50% overlap, so we can ensure we get everything we need and we have proper overlap between. So if at the flight distance of 70 meters, we'll get the 120 meter swath length or swath width. I'm going to set the side distance to 60 meters, so we'll have that 50% overlap. You can change things like avoid obstacles if there are obstacles in the way. You can go through and change the direction angle. It really depends on what you're doing or how you want to fly this. Overshoot, so this is the overshoot in meters and overshoot in speed. But with these main settings right here, I'll go through and start planning the mission. So right now, let's say we want to fly this area. So I'm going to click this entire area. So now after we double click on the areas and then we right click to end the command, you can see that it changed some of the settings because of the constraints and whatnot in the profile. So it just gives you a little warning there. And then if we go into parameters right here and go show elevation, we're going to take a look at this and we're going to see that the estimated distance is going to be 19.5 kilometers. And duration of about 43 minutes for the entire mission. And then you can see the elevation profile and everything too. So now we have this mission right here. And let's say we're happy with this, we're confident that, we can fly this entire thing with good line of sight depending on where you're standing. So now we want to get that onto the controller. So what ends up needing to happen is you'll need to turn on your controller. So once the controller turns on, alright, now we're on the controller. So when you start up the smart controller, this is the screen you get to first. We're not going to go to pilot, we're going to go to the bottom right and open up your apps. So inside the app screen, this is assuming that you've already installed the UCGS for DJI. So I'm just going to click on that app. So now you can see that we're connected to a Wi-Fi network. This Wi-Fi network is connected to the same network as UCGS desktop, or the desktop client is. And if you look in the top left, you'll see UCS and that green dot. That's what you want. That shows that you are connected to the UCGS server. So now we want to go through and pull that mission off from the server. We'll go down in the middle, icons right there, and all the way to the left, we'll hit Open Route. Once you hit Open Route, you have a list of all the missions that you created that are stored on the UCGS server that's on the laptop or desktop you're using. So I saved the mission as a test mission. And inside here, you will see route selection. So right now I only had one route planned within that mission, and that's the only one that's coming up. So if I wanted to, I can click on it. So right now I have a local version because I did this before, but what you can also do is if you don't or are not going to be able to have a networked connection, you can download the maps onto the controller and fly from the controller without your laptop. The only issue with that is you are not able to change any settings or mission parameters on your smart controller. You do have to use the desktop or laptop software in order to change it and then re-upload everything. So now I'm in route selection. I'll click the three dots to the right and I'll say make available offline. So now what it's doing is pulling that mission I planned on the server onto the controller itself. And as you can see, it pops up, and this is the mission I will be flying. And then if I go back to Open Route, and I go to Local, you'll see that test mission that I started is now locally stored. If I click on that, it says it's currently open, and I can go through and delete this mission or make comments on this mission. So now I'll go through and turn off my Wi-Fi, and I'll back all the way back out just for good measure. I'll reopen UCGS. And now, since I'm not connected to the network, you're not going to see the mission or anything there, or the green light at the top left that says that it's connected to the network. But now we're out in the field and we want to load the mission. We'll click on the three dots. We'll click Open Route. So default and say it's not connected, so we'll go to Server, Test Mission, and right now the mission's right there. 3 buttons on the right. It says it's stored internally onto the controller. We can click on that. It processes it, and now the mission comes up. And there we go. That's how you generate an area map mission on UCGS desktop. Get it uploaded to your controller and ready to use, so you don't need to be within the same network, or you don't need to be online in order to fly. Hopefully this helps you out. Thank you. Bye.